Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Season 2, the first episode this season. I'm Bryce Koon, Timeout with Bryce Koon, here with Coach Mitch Cole, the new men's basketball coach at Berry, and thank you for coming on the show today.
Appreciate you having me.
Coach, as we get into this, there's no secret there's a lot more excitement around this program. Before we get into that and all the excitement and all the social media videos like we were talking about beforehand, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you came from.
Yeah, so I would probably describe myself as a basketball lifer. I grew up playing basketball since I was 7 years old. I can remember, Converse Chuck Taylor maroon shoes my first year playing. And then ever since then, it's been one season after another of either playing or coaching the game. It's my 27th year of coaching right now. So we're just enjoying every minute of it. But I think basketball is just in my blood. And it's all I've known for forever.
And you played, what kind of made you make the decision, hey, I want to coach, I want to stay within the sport, and I want to coach and give back? What kind of prompted you to do that?
Well, I think growing up, going through middle school and high school, I started attending basketball camps at different places. It could be one in Tennessee, it could be one in Mississippi, it could be one in Louisiana. I grew up in Louisiana. So basketball and Pistol Pete Maravich and the whole scene back then was just saturated with basketball and sports in general. But I think as I began to get into high school and college and really play the game at a higher level and begin to think the game and the strategy of it, I think probably toward the end of college I began to realize that this is probably what I'm called to do.
So we talked, first season here at Berry. We were talking beforehand, before the show started, about the city of Rome. You have some familiarity coaching over at Birmingham Southern. What has allowed you, being in this new program, a program that has struggled in recent years, obviously came off a big conference tournament run last year, kind of your experience, how has that helped you feel like in this new job?
Well, we were at several different levels over the course of 27 years. We started off at Southeastern Louisiana for a year, Auburn for 2 years as a grad assistant, spent 5 or 6 years in the NAI at Birmingham Southern. This is where I first became familiar with Berry. We'd come up here and play in the late 90s in the Ford Gymnasium, so I remember playing in that building. Spent a few years in Division I at Birmingham Southern, then I took over as the head coach when we started in Division III at Birmingham Southern. So that's where I got my feet wet at this level. We started from scratch and built the program and went about 4 years. And then I left there to go to Texas A&M for 5 years as an assistant, 2 years at Arkansas Little Rock. And then when the Berry job came open, we felt like this was the right fit for us at the time. Just getting back to being a head coach, being in familiar territory in the Southeast, and then having some good relationships and battles in this conference, I think really sealed the deal for us.
Talking about the conference, students have been able to see this as well. It's a tough conference. It's not an easy conference. The SAA sometimes gets labeled as more of an academic conference compared to the USA South. For this conference, though, obviously there's the team that can people like to label blue blood as center. They are year in and year out contending not only for a spot in the NCAA tournament, but to advance within the tournament. Berry, coming off this run, did you see an opportunity to continue that momentum with some of the players on the roster?
Yeah, there was a couple of seniors that I thought if we can get them playing at a high level and then get the guys that are existing playing at a higher level, we felt like we could make some noise. I wasn't sure to what extent in year one. I wasn't real optimistic, to be honest with you, because of the players they had lost, who I thought were very good. But I think as we got momentum and won a couple of early close games, we felt like if we could continue to improve on a weekly basis, we might be able to make some noise and make a statement in this league that Berry College belongs, at least at the middle or the top of this conference in the early going.
And you talk about that statement for fans and people watching as myself and working the game. That statement might have come that kind of first weekend, that conference home weekend when you had Swanee and Center, two of the top teams in the conference. I talked to some of the players in a piece that we did for Viking Fusion, and they talked about they came in and felt like they had the confidence knowing we're not as big of an underdog as we think, and we have the confidence we can come in and win this game. Is that something that you and your coaching staff love to implement, or is that something that the players really stepped up and said themselves?
Well, we've taken a different mindset. They won the conference championship last season, and so we knew there's something inside of these guys. We call it championship DNA. Like there's something in you that gives you the potential and the actual confidence to know that you could do this. So go out there and be fearless. Go out there and improve every week. if we can just continue to get better, regardless of the opponent or the time or the score, it's just, are we getting better on a daily basis? Kind of this process-oriented goal. If we knew we could do that, we could play with anybody, because we had played some tough teams in the pre-conference. We played Guilford, who's a top 25 team, Emory, who's a top 25 team. We had to play against Huntington at LaGrange. So we had some good competition early that I think prepared us for conference play. And once conference play came around, we won a few games, even on the road at Millsaps, beat Oglethorpe at home. We thought, there's really nobody we can't play with in this conference. And the last thing was, if we're going to be any good, we've got to own the Cage Center. It starts and ends with home games. We've got to make sure we secure home court. This place has to be our place. We sweat and bleed and cry out there every day. So why not make this our home and make this the best environment in the SAA? And so a combination of the student fan support and our guys' effort and energy at home has really given us a leg up in terms of winning our home games.
Talked with Elijah Hirsch and Corey Johnson, and they were talking about how much it really means to have the fans there and the students there. And just from being here the past 4 years, the difference in the turnout and the attendance. I mean, to think that last weekend we were trying to pack it out and eclipse that attendance record. What does it mean to you as a coach to see the fans turn out, especially in year one? Because a lot of times it can be hard. Fans and students can be unsure, okay, what does this new coaching staff bring in? The basketball program, like we talked about, traditionally has not been hasn't had much success until the conference tournament run, which caught a lot of people off guard. And you talked about that out-of-conference slate that you started the season with, some tough teams sprinkled in there, and then some hard-fought wins as well. But that first weekend, what was it like to see, especially the first weekend and then this past weekend, and then you're going to have another one coming here to kind of round out the conference home slate? What was it like to see the fans really come out and support y'all?
It was great. I mean, when you think of small college basketball, you mainly think of players playing because they love the game. It's not because of the TV coverage or the media coverage. It's just we love to play. And if people want to come out and watch us play, great, but that's not what we expect necessarily. But with that said, our whole goal this fall was to put in the work in the weight room, put in the work, be visible around campus, go support the other sports, go to plays, go to concerts, communicate with students on campus so that they'll want to come watch you play. And then once we get on the floor, the effort and the energy and the enthusiasm better be great, because there's a lot of things competing, right? Entertainment. We got TV, we got Netflix, we got their phones, we got everything we're competing with. So if they do come and watch us, we need to make sure we're doing our part. And we want them to, enjoy their time watching our team play. And that's the effort and the energy and the enthusiasm and togetherness that we got to exhibit on a daily basis.
And you talked about the expectations for this first year. I think it's safe to say from students and fans' perspective that it's exceeded those expectations a little bit last year. You've already eclipsed the wins mark, and you're looking really, like we talked about on the way over here, this stretch you're about to go through is a tough one. And like you told your players, you said, we can win every single one of them, we can lose. What is going to make the difference here to close it out? You've had a really decent, strong start here to the conference play. What's it going to take to finish out this slate in a strong manner?
Well, in the immediate, we've got 2 home games coming up this weekend. We've got Millsaps Friday night, and we got Birmingham Southern on Sunday. This has to be the best weekend we've had so far, not only from our standpoint, but we'd love to have the same crowds that we've been having. Just generating the enthusiasm and the interest in our program, I think that lifts our players. When they know that they've got a group of people behind them, giving them energy, I can't understate it or overstate it. It's something that's important to basketball players, because they play for the love of the game, but they also play to show their work, and they show, just like an artist or a musician, you want people to appreciate what you do. So it starts with owning our home court. And then we got to go on the road with a couple of tough teams. Swanigan Center, even though we beat them at home, it's always different on the road. The environment's different, the referees are different, the crowd is different, the court, the goals, the gym, it's all different. So we're going to take it a practice at a time. And again, our whole theme is not necessarily who we're playing. It's just this week, have we mastered our craft? Have we gotten things done, in the weight room, in the film room, on the court? Have we gotten our rest? Have we stayed fit? Have we gotten healthy and been diligent about our rehab? So again, for us to peak at the right time, we've got to get better individually and collectively on that court.
Well, Coach, thank you for coming on once again today and talking. And if you are a Berry fan or a student watching this, we really encourage you to come out this weekend, a big conference weekend. And then if you can make the trip up to Tennessee and up to Kentucky for a big finish to this conference slate, and wherever might the tournament be, depends on what happens this last couple of weeks, we encourage you to come out. Once again, check us out on VikingFusion.com and follow all of them. Berry's men's basketball, it's going to be a fun end of the season. We want to thank you for watching.